Resuming debate, the honourable member for Oakville.
I'll be sharing my time with my colleague from Scarborough Centre. Mr. Speaker, it's an honour to rise in the House today and speak in favour of Budget 2016. During the last election and through extensive pre-budget consultations, I heard personally from many people in Oakville. Oakvillians shared their concerns about jobs and job security. Many felt trapped in poor quality jobs or had family members who were struggling in a sluggish economy. Young families expressed concerns about the cost of daycare and their struggles to make ends meet. Many seniors and young Canadians said they also were having difficulty making ends meet. The root causes were different and different solutions will be required, but if we don't act to help, the outcome is the same: people trapped in poverty or people trapped in underemployment. The town of Oakville, the region of Halton, and many business owners talked about failing infrastructure and problems with road congestion. Small and medium business owners spoke about their concerns with accessing trained workforces and support for the innovation and entrepreneurship that has been a staple of the Canadian economy. They also worried about the slow economy and the need for revitalization and stimulus. Social agencies expressed concerns about housing, poverty, inadequate shelters from violence, and care for the elderly. Green advocates like the Halton Environmental Network and Oakville Green raised concerns about reliance on greenhouse gases and the need to move our economy from a carbon dependency. Mr. Speaker, many residents of Oakville were concerned about the loss of federal investments in arts and culture, and particularly the reduction in funding to the CBC. The reason I am so honored to rise and speak today is my confidence that this budget will begin to address these myriad concerns and many others that I haven't specifically addressed. So let me speak to some of the specific budget provisions. For young families, Budget 2016 will introduce the Canada Child Benefit. This will provide families with a maximum benefit of up to $6,400 per child under the age of 6 and up to $5,400 per child aged 6 through 17. With the Canada Child Benefit, over 3 million families will receive more benefits than before, on average $2,300 more per year, tax-free. This will lift almost 300,000 children out of poverty. For young Canadians, Budget 2016 will ensure that a student graduating from college or university will not have to start paying back their student loans until they make at least $25,000 in annual income. Budget 2016 boosts grants to low and middle income college and university students by as much as $1,000 per year. This measure will put more money in the pockets of 360,000 students a year. The introduction of a flat-rate student contribution to determine eligibility for Canada student grants and loans will encourage students to work and gain valuable labour market experience while studying. This measure will provide assistance of $268 million over 4 years. Employment opportunities for youth are also planned through an investment of an additional $165 million in 16-17 for the Youth Employment Strategy and $300 million over 3 years for the Canada Summer Jobs Program to create 35,000 additional youth jobs each year. Mr. Speaker, when I met with young Canadians who were progressing after post-secondary education with jobs and low debt, many had benefited from co-op placements. Co-op placements provide essential networks and in-year funding to help with educational costs. Support for new co-op placements and work-integrated learning opportunities for young Canadians is planned in the budget through an investment of $73 million over 4 years for the Post-Secondary Partnership and Co-op Placement Initiative. And to help those universities and colleges develop highly skilled workers, to act as engines of discovery and support the growth of innovative firms, Budget 2016 provides up to $2 billion over 3 years for strategic projects to improve research and innovation infrastructure. For seniors, the budget will increase the guaranteed income supplement benefit for single seniors up to $947 annually to help lift low-income single seniors out of poverty. This measure represents an investment of $670 million per year and will improve the financial security of about 900,000 single seniors across Canada. The government will restore the eligibility age for old age security and guaranteed income supplement benefits to 65, which will put thousands of dollars back in the pockets of Canadians as they become seniors. Budget 2016 provides infrastructure support for the construction, repair, and adoption of affordable housing for seniors through an investment of $201 million over 2 years to help the many seniors facing challenges in accessing affordable housing. To improve the retirement income security for all working Canadians, the government has begun discussions with provinces and territories to enhance the Canada Pension Plan, a portable, low-cost, and defined benefit pension. To grow the economy and create jobs, Phase 1 of the infrastructure plan invests $11.9 billion to build roads, bridges, improve public transit, improve water and wastewater facilities, and refurbish affordable housing. This will create tens of thousands of jobs and boost the economy. Specifically, the government will invest $3.4 billion over the next 3 years to upgrade and improve public transit, $5 billion over 5 years for investments in water, wastewater, and green infrastructure projects, and $3.4 billion over 5 years for social infrastructure, including affordable housing, early learning and childcare, cultural and recreational infrastructure. In addition to the new funding announced in the Budget 2016, the government will continue to make available approximately $3 billion each year in dedicated funding for municipal infrastructure projects through the Gas Tax Fund and incremental goods and service tax rebates for municipalities. To help businesses and manufacturers of all sizes, Budget 2016 makes available up to $800 million over 4 years, starting in 17-18, to support innovation, networks, and clusters. To support an innovative automotive sector, Budget 2016 announces the extension of the Automotive Innovation Fund through to the end of 2021. The government will also examine approaches to maximize the impact of federal support offered to the automotive sector, including assessing the terms of the fund. And to assist the transition to lower carbon transportation fuels, Budget 2016 provides $62 million over 2 years to support the deployment of electric vehicles and alternative transportation fuels infrastructure. Building on Canada's proud history in space and to create employment opportunities for the space industry sector, Budget 2016 proposes to provide up to $379 million over 8 years for the Canadian Space Agency to extend Canada's participation in the International Space Station to 2024. And for small and medium-sized enterprises receiving advice and project financing through the Industrial Research Assistance Program, Budget 2016 proposes to provide the program with a further $50 million in 16-17. Budget 2016 invests in the Canadian cultural sector to create jobs and ensure that our unique Canadian perspective is shared with the world. Included in this allocation is $1.3 billion in support for long-standing arts and cultural organizations such as CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, Radio Canada, the Canada Council for Arts, Telefilm Canada, and the National Film Board. Canada will also be able to showcase Canadian artists and cultural industries abroad with an investment of $35 million over 2 years, which will immediately help Canadian foreign missions promote Canadian culture and creativity on the world stage, particularly in the lead-up to Canada 150 celebrations. As I said at the outset, Mr. Speaker, I am proud to rise and speak to the benefits of this budget for the people of Oakville, for Canadians, and for our economy. This budget specifically addressed the concerns that I heard in my community. This budget puts us on a course to economic growth, expands opportunities for the middle class and those striving to be in the middle class. Finally, this budget allows government to reach out with help to those most in need in our communities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and comments? Questions et commentaires? The Honourable Member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my honourable colleague on the Liberal benches for support and the speech that he just made for the budget. And I have to admit that I am more torn than I wanted to be about this budget. I was expecting so much more. I really did believe that we would see the kind of investments in infrastructure that would stimulate our economy, thus justifying the deep deficit. I find myself so deeply disappointed that the $120 billion in infrastructure spending is almost in 90% tilted to after the next election. We see $11.9 billion in infrastructure, But that's phase one, which is 5 years long. And then the other 90% of what's promised in infrastructure is supposed to come in years, mostly years 7, 8, 9, and 10. The disappointment I feel, and I'll ask my honourable colleague, does he believe, as a Liberal member of Parliament, that this budget was like training wheels on a bike, and next year we'll see the real budget? Because this falls so far short of what we've been led to believe that we would see for the environment, for First Nations, for infrastructure, that I feel as though there's another shoe about to drop somewhere.
The honourable member for Oakville.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'd want to thank the honourable member for her question. This budget is about an inclusive and fair Canada. It's about families, and I did not mention the tax cut for the middle class. It's about supporting families through the Canada Children Benefit, and it's about growing a robust economy. The infrastructure investments I recited are there. They are significant investments. What I like best about them is that those dollars are going directly to the communities to make decisions on what is most important to their communities. So we have spending decisions being made very close to where the dollars are needed, and that maximizes that federal investment. I am very proud of this budget. I believe it fulfills the commitments that were made during the election period. And again, thank her for her question.
Questions et commentaires. Questions and comments. Alors, la députée.
The honourable member for Mégantic Éclairable. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I had the opportunity today during the question period to ask about the real efforts made by the government to SMEs, which are the true job creators in Canada. There is a big broken promise, that is to reduce 11 to 9% the tax rate for small businesses. And my president of the Chamber of Commerce in my area was worried about the scope of the deficit announced in this budget. And he was also worried that our small businesses will be stuck with the bill. There are a great many announcements, a great many measures, but really there aren't any jobs being created. The government has no plan for growth. It's a budget of communication, not of content. So will the government finally announce what the measures are? The measures in the budget that will help small and medium businesses, because according to my businesses in my area, there are no such measures.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the honourable member for his question. Mr. Speaker, perhaps he wasn't listening during my 10-minute address, but I recited many, many examples of the investments that we are making in small and medium businesses to ensure that they prosper in Canada, and I won't recite those again. Most importantly, we are investing in middle class, we are investing in families, and we're investing in infrastructure to create thousands of new jobs. Small businesses, medium-sized businesses need customers. We need a strong and robust middle class to make sure this economy grows and supports those businesses that he was referring to. So thank you.
Questions and comments. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Government House Leader.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I did want to pick up on a point in which the member made reference to, and that is, of course, the tax break for our middle class. What we need to realize is a major platform issue for the Liberal Party was, in fact, to give strength to the middle class. And what we've seen is in this tax cut that's incorporated in this budget, there are going to be, whether you're a firefighter, a teacher, you work as an industry worker, whatever profession, part of that middle class is getting a substantial tax break. By doing that, we're giving more of a disposable income to Canada's middle class. And by doing that, ultimately, Mr. Speaker, we're allowing for more spending. That helps small businesses. That helps families. It helps the economy. And would the member not agree, by doing this, we're getting a healthier middle class and thereby a healthier Canadian economy? Would he not agree that that's a good thing?
The Honourable Member for Oakville.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my colleague for that question. This budget, as has mentioned, lowered taxes for 9 billion people. 9 out of 10 Canadians are receiving on average $2,300 more in the Canada Child Benefit. This is how you grow the middle class, and with growth in the middle class, we are supporting the economy. So I absolutely support the comments that were made by my colleague through that question, and I believe we are setting Canada back on the right track for growth in the economy, growth in the middle class, and a fair and equitable country. Thank you.